I'm lost and I need help and perspective. My wife, my first love, first partner, and best friend unexpectedly has been cheating on me. Absolutely heartbroken.
Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started.
I'm lost and I need help and perspective. My husband has always had a temper, but things got worse after our first child was born. He would yell at me and say horrible things. Once he even whispered to our infant, "Mommy doesn't love you because I bought a generic formula." He would say he wished he'd never married me. He called my mom the C word. The final straw was when he told me to go kill myself. I was depressed and felt worthless. I joined online community and a man started giving me attention. I kept things strictly friends, but we talked way more than I should have as a married woman. It felt good to feel heard and understood. I opened up to my therapist about my husband and she told me it was a verbal abuse and gave me the number of a lawyer. I filed for divorce. A week after I told my husband I wanted a divorce, I confessed to my male friend all that had been going behind the scene and that we were divorcing. He confessed his feelings to me and, finally feeling loved and allowing myself to, I told him I had developed feelings too. My husband begged me not to leave, and he said he'd go to therapy and ask if we could do marriage counseling. I was scared of marriage counseling because I was afraid he'd just yell at me after sessions if I was honest. In retrospect, I should have tried it since he was willing and we had a baby together. I moved out. Things with this guy moved way too fast, and at first I was so wrapped up in feeling like I was being saved from my unhappiness. I ignored the red flags and dove at first. Things with AP quickly turned emotionally abusive. Feel free to check my post history for details. Every time I dropped my kid off at his dad's, I bawled my eyes out on the way home. I missed my husband and my family, but I knew it wasn't healthy to stay away. Things with AP escalated until it got to the point where he was saying, if I could just have sex with you, I would go back to normal. By that point, I was so desperate to get the feeling of being understood back. I arranged for him to fly out and visit me. We had sex the first night, and it didn't feel right. We did it a couple other times, but the abuse was more obvious in person, and I was feeling the weight of what I was doing, and it crushed me. I missed my family. This was wrong. I sent him home early. Husband got diagnosed bipolar, and we cried on the other phone together. He apologized for the way he treated me and started therapy/meds. I invited him over the day after AP went home. I just missed him and wanted to hang out. He asked me if I'd seen anyone during the separation, and I lied and said no. I justified it's not being in the right headspace to discuss. We ended up having sex that night. A week in, I confessed, and we are struggling to put pieces back together. I shouldn't have lied, and I feel horrible about it. I went full NC and I'm only allowing myself to have female friends. I have an open phone and laptop. I am in IC and got diagnosed with ADHD, so I'm on meds now too. I am working hard every day to prove I am not going anywhere and that I am truly deeply sorry. Things with my husband were on better track, but now he stops his med and tells me he only has a mood disorder because I'm a cheating slut. He kept me up all night last night telling me I can try to change all I want, but I never will. And I'm just a bad person who does bad things because that's how I was raised. I don't know what more I can do. I feel like I remind him of the verbal abuse. I'm just making excuses. I feel like, yes, I did an awful thing I will never do again. But without meds, he was and is horrible to me. Has anyone been anywhere close to a situation like this? My wife, my first love, first partner, and best friend, unexpectedly has been cheating on me. Absolutely heartbroken. My wife, 28 of 2 years, has done a complete 180 in the past few weeks. She went from someone who was loving, focused on starting a family, and completely trustworthy to someone who has lied, deceived me, and blames me for her infidelity. It all started 3 weeks ago. I was riding high. I thought of our relationship was going great. We were talking about getting another dog and our honeymoon plans since COVID wrecked the initial plans. Then Friday hit. I could sense something was up and even mentioned it to my mother on the phone. I don't know what's going on. I just have a bad feeling about my wife, I said. Then that night she texted me. I just need some space tonight. I know you won't like it, but please respect my decision. She then proceeded to turn off her phone and she says she slept in her car in a vacant lot. When she came home, I was understanding but stern that this sort of thing could never happen again. That she had completely changed her mindset on life itself. No kids, career focused, and wanted out of the relationship. The most telling thing she said was, I fear that we will cheat on each other in the future. What? Who says something like that? Completely out of the blue. Many things happened since then, including her leaving the state for 2 weeks because she needed space. While she was gone, I put a GPS tracker on our car that I own. Last night, I found that she had spent the night at her instructor's house after going to a movie theater. I also found a picture of the two of them. The worst part is, I was the one who has encouraged her in this career and she never would have met the guy if I didn't introduce them. I have yet to confront her, but I am currently putting all the puzzle pieces together about this whole situation. She's basically blaming me for all these issues that we are suddenly dealing with, saying she doesn't like the way I talk to her. I'm controlling, and I call her names. I have done deep soul searching these past few weeks to try and understand what I could have done to cause this, but her accusations are unfounded. I encourage her to get mental health, which, in her mind, equated to calling her names. I stressed the importance of communication when she shut off her phone, but she says that it's controlling, even though I didn't stop her from spending 3+ weeks away from home. Finally, she has these recording of me, without my knowledge, and thinks that they prove that I mentally abuse her. I played these for my counselor and he disagreed that there was any sort of abuse in the recordings and was actually impressed with how calm and collected I was in the discussion. Anyways, none of these things are excuses for cheating and the way she has been treating me. I guess I am at the investigation stage still, trying to let her make her own choices, and I'll gather that data. It's tough though, and the person I once loved more than anything has completely wrecked our entire life together in 3 short weeks. I am at a loss for words how I feel right now. I've got a great support system and loving parents, but now I know how heartbreak feels and I never want to feel this way again.